Go ahead.
Hi, welcome to another week of Learning Kitchen Live. My name is Lindsay Veraster.
And I'm Carolyn Boyd.
We are registered dietitians here at Community Servings. We'd like to thank Boston Scientific for continuing to support Learning Kitchen Live. As always, the recipe will be posted in the comments section as well as a fiber handout later today. So today we're making apple cinnamon baked oatmeal. We will start by dicing the apples. You can slice it like you were slicing it for a pie, and then cut it into smaller pieces. And in the meantime, we will talk about the spotlight, the nutrition spotlight of this recipe, which is fiber.
Right, so Lindsay's going to prep the rest of the apples for the recipe, and I will talk a little bit about fiber. Fiber, what is it? You might have heard about it. Your doctor or health professional may have said to eat more of it. Fiber comes from plant foods, and it's a type of carbohydrate that can't be digested from our bodies. So what happens is it actually passes really slowly through our digestive system, and because of this, it has a lot of health benefits. Eating more fiber can improve your digestive health. It can keep you feeling fuller longer. It helps stabilize blood sugars, and it promotes heart health by lowering cholesterol levels. So Lindsay and I actually picked this recipe specifically for the fiber content and in honor of American Heart Month. February is actually American Heart Month, and it's a time of year where you can celebrate your heart health, and I encourage you to think of ways to maybe improve or make your heart a little bit healthier. One way to do that is by eating more fiber and starting your day with a breakfast that is chock full of fiber. Now, as Americans, we don't really get a lot of fiber in our diet. It's recommended that we get close to 30 grams of fiber a day, but the average American gets about half of that, only 15 grams, which is crazy, right? So how do you get more fiber in your diet? By eating more plant foods, which is easier said than done. One strategy is to include a plant at every meal, right? So meals and snacks, trying to have some plant foods, starting your day with a fiber-filled breakfast. This breakfast has 4 grams of fiber in it, which is a good amount for a single meal. And another tip that I like to use is when chopping or cooking and using veggies and fruits, keeping the skins on. So you'll see here, Lindsay had diced up some of our apples, and she actually left the skin on them. The skin houses extra fiber, and when you peel them away, right, you're losing fiber that could be getting into your body and protecting your health or your overall health. So with that, it's a little bit more about our spotlight. We're going to pass it over to Lindsay so she can show you how easy it is to put this meal or recipe together.
Yeah, so here we have the dry ingredients that we'll pour into the oatmeal: the baking powder, cinnamon spice, and salt. Then we will put low-fat or fat-free milk, eggs, applesauce. We have unsweetened applesauce. And then a sweetener of your choice. We're using honey. You could also use maple syrup. And then to add more flavor, we have vanilla extract. And then we have melted butter. While I'm mixing this up, maybe we should talk about how we could make this recipe vegan or allergen-free. Maybe some different types of milks would work.
Yeah, definitely. So that's the great thing about this recipe is that you could change it up however you like. So if you have allergies, someone in your family has allergies, you definitely can modify this. So like Lindsay was saying, you could make this dairy-free, right? So you could use a plant-based milk like soy milk, almond milk, cashew milk, coconut milk. There are so many on the market now. And then use also a plant-based butter. So that would help remove some of the dairy options. If you're familiar with vegan baking or cooking, there are substitutes that you can use for eggs as well. So you could make this completely vegan with some slight modifications. I think too, we're using apples today, but Lindsay, like if you didn't like apples or say you're not a big apple person, what other fruit could you maybe use in this?
You could totally use berries. Those would taste really nice. When you put blueberries in the oven, it comes out really flavorful. So you could replace apples with lots of different fruits that you would like. It can be a little hard to find berries in season that are really tasty this time of year. So apples, they're still in season and pretty available in the store, as you'll notice. And so they're very, very flavorful right now.
Lindsay, what do you think as you're mixing that? So I had a thought about this too, right? You could use fruit, but what if you used vegetables? Because I think a lot of people don't think about adding veggies to oatmeal, but if you maybe grated up some carrots or even zucchini and added it in, like it'd be kind of more of like a zucchini bread or a carrot cake type oatmeal. What do you think of that?
Yeah, that's another great way to have fiber, especially the grated carrot, and it gives it a really nice color. The zucchini is very low in calories, so that's a great way to have a low calorie and low sugar oatmeal breakfast. All right, so I folded in, as you saw, the apple slices, the diced apples. There are toasted walnuts that we used, so it's easy to toast walnuts. You can actually just put it in a pan in the oven, or you could put it in a pan on the stovetop. Just keep it warm for 5 to 7 minutes. Make sure you keep an eye on it and stir it so that it does not burn. So when you toast it, you'll see that it comes out a really nice color. It's kind of golden and it's very fragrant. So since we're baking it with the nuts, of course you could skip that part and make it allergen free. So we'll pour it in to a greased pan. And maybe instead of nuts, you could always use seeds.
Yeah, definitely. Pumpkin seeds, sunflower seeds. There's a lot of different options that you could use. And certainly too, if you're like not a nut or a seed person, if you aren't able to digest them, you could do without them. They just add a little bit extra of a crunch to this recipe, but they're not necessary.
They are very heart healthy as well, though. Seeds can be a nice alternative to nuts that still have some healthy fats and a little protein. Okay, so now it looks even and flat. We will put it in the oven. You can bake this at 375 for 35 minutes.
All right, so Lindsay's gonna go pop that into the oven. We actually baked one ahead of time, so we don't have to sit here for 30 to 35 minutes. So she's gonna put that one in the oven and then bring our other recipe back. A big reason, again, why we chose this recipe is because it's American Heart Month, so we wanted to highlight that fiber and how it can be a really heart-healthy recipe. I think also, too, we wanted to show how easy it is to put together a breakfast recipe that can be used throughout the week. So Lindsay has here our final recipe. As you can see, it is our apple cinnamon baked oatmeal. So this is what it'll look like when it comes out of the oven. So you can eat this right out of the oven. You could also put it back into the refrigerator to be cut up or used throughout the week. It can even be frozen too. In the recipe handout, we give instructions on how to freeze it in case you want to kind of make it and store it for later. So, again, I think a big piece or thing we hear a lot from clients is that they're busy in the morning. They don't have time for breakfast, right? So, yeah. Lindsay, what do you think is so great about like this recipe when it comes to busy mornings?
You can make it at the beginning of the week, and then you have breakfast for a few days. You could keep it in the fridge and then cut it into bars or slices, or you could even make it something a little bit softer. If you have time to eat at home, you could heat it up in the microwave and add more milk and other fruits that you would like to mix in.
Yeah, definitely. So again, when we think about this recipe, it's definitely nutritious. Will give you a lot of energy to start your day. Easy to put together and have for a week for yourself or your family. And it's not just limited to breakfast. You could really eat this at any time of the day. So, with that, we have our, again, apple cinnamon baked oatmeal. We hope that you are interested and want to try it out. If you do try it out, feel free to let us know how it went in the comment section of this video. And then as a reminder, we do have that survey. If you have some time to take it, it helps us learn what you're interested in, to learn more about your interests when it comes to learning Kitchen Live. So with that, we thank you for joining us this week, and we hope to see you back here next week.